Westbrook Health Services has been supporting the surrounding community since 1949 and is known as an agency that is community-focused, people-driven. As one of West Virginia's 13 comprehensive behavioral health centers, Westbrook provides services to 8 counties throughout the Mountaineer State and became one of the first comprehensive community behavioral health clinics in West Virginia in 2020. This podcast wouldn't be possible without the generous help of the Sisters Health Foundation. This year marks 25 years since the foundation awarded its first grant, and we couldn't be more grateful for their support. Welcome to Studio 2121.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Spill the Tea with Liz and me. I'm Liz.
And I'm me.
Yes, and today we have two wonderful people who probably going to be inappropriate during this podcast. But
never.
This is Dan Lockhart, and he'll tell you what he does, and this is Stanley Lukasiewicz, Lukasiewicz, for those that think that I don't know anything.
Did she spell it right, Stanley?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stanley, which episode is this of hashtag Studio 2121? Do you remember which episode?
13.
13. Lucky number 13.
Yeah.
This is going to be life-changing. We'll start with Dan. What?
I'm going to be a changed person. I'll be in Hollywood.
You will be. Yeah.
You're going to be
famous. You're on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell all your friends to listen and like and subscribe, okay?
You got to listen, like, and subscribe.
All right.
Okay?
Perfect.
And hit that like button, right?
This is Dan. Dan Lockhart. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm a residential supervisor here at Westbrook for 6 years now.
I wondered.
6 years?
Yes,
I wondered how
a little
long.
over 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And you got hired in as a BHT 2.
Yes.
Behavioral health tech.
Yes. And what does the 2 mean?
Well, what does the BHT mean? Not everybody knows,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. So behavioral health techs are also called direct care staff in some places.
Okay.
They're the frontline workers. They work directly with the clients and client care. We have group homes that are 24 hours. We have some supportive homes that get hours throughout the week. But
And so supportive is, as I tell people, it's like being a good neighbor. Your neighbor needs a ride to the store. Your neighbor maybe needs some help tidying up their home. Your
Right.
neighbor needs just some help. And so that would be supportive.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And 24 hours, you're in their home 24/7.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So that's a BHT. What makes that different from a BHT 2?
So BHT2 has a little more responsibility. We have the monthly safety inspections that need completed, vehicle inspections.
Okay.
They're also kind of a go-between between the health techs and the residential supervisors.
Okay.
They can handle smaller issues that might not need to make it all the way up the chain.
Okay. And this is actually at 36th Street.
Yes.
Yes. And so.
But now you're a residential supervisor.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody must have liked you.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
So
They were mistaken.
it's good to have friends.
Yeah. It's good to have friends.
Were you
That's
in
nice,
charge
thank
of Dan getting promoted, Stanley? Did you have anything to do with that?
Well, I got to say, the truth and all. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
You were.
the sole person. Okay, so why did you pick Westbrook?
Well, that's a long question, but I started out in corrections. I worked
Okay.
in juvenile corrections a long time ago, about
Okay.
12 years ago I started, because I wanted to help people. I worked through at Salem at the Industrial Home for Youth
Okay.
way back when. I came into town to work locally at a facility, but I always wanted to help people. I ended up going to a warehouse to work as a thermoforming operator.
Okay.
That
I
I
love how
decided.
people
I
Find
don't
their
know
way.
what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
means.
so-
Thermoforming operator.
Right, so I work with plastic. I form plastic.
Sounds boring.
Yeah, I formed plastic on a line. It was boring, and I realized about 8 months into that this is not what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to help somebody. So I applied at Westbrook. Sharon Bunner interviewed me, and the interview went really well,
Okay.
obviously, because
Yeah.
here I am. But I had no idea what I was walking into at first, but over the years I really grew to love it. Like, this is
Okay.
the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
really.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
really mean that.
What? Now you hire people.
Right.
Okay, so what do you look for? I know sometimes people just get hired in, and some people you're like, I think you're probably going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you look for when you think people are going to stay?
Okay, so something I always pay attention to is if they walk in to interview. My office is in one of the group homes.
Okay.
So if they walk in and if they say hi to the clients
Okay.
and introduce themselves, I really like that. And then when they say bye to them, But I always look for people that seem like they're caring and compassionate first, because you can teach everything else. But I feel like if someone's genuinely caring, that's something that they just have with them and they're always going to have, and everything else comes afterwards. Because even if you have no experience in mental health, we can help you.
So the thing that I love about 36th Street, it is a group, it's several apartments. How many people there total?
Oh, at any given time, it's 2 to an apartment. We have 7.
Okay,
So
14.
Yeah.
So it's individual apartments, but there is some group activity. We pair up with another home in Williamstown. But this was the first place I worked at Westbrook.
It's her favorite.
And it's my I shouldn't have favorites.
She talks about it all the time. She loves 36th Street.
Yeah. So
Well, it is that she loves me, so.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
She loves you?
Yeah.
Wherever I go, she goes.
That's it. Yeah. Well, you are full of it today. Now, Dan, what are some of the highlights of 36th Street? Like the fun activities, the things that you look forward to?
Well, the first highlight is the clients, honestly. Yes. I really mean that. But the activities that we can do, we regularly do picnics at Mount Wood. And fishing. Fishing, you name it. Run around, getting into trouble. Street racing over the Blennerhassett Bridge. Oh, no, I mean, we don't do that, Stanley. Sorry, we're not going to talk about that.
Street racing.
No street racing. But it's pretty open with the activities that we can do, and I really enjoy that. We can put in trip requests. We've gone to Cabela's this year. We have a few other things planned. There's a homecoming coming up in Belleville that we're going to try to go to. So, and we take input from the clients also.
What kinds of things do you like to do, Stanley?
I like to be around people that have the same interests as I do. My interests are playing my awesome Xbox, which nobody can find because the chip hasn't been manufactured yet.
Oh,
was it
but
part of the
how
COVID,
did you
COVID
get the
backup?
The chip
Xbox
shortage.
then? How did you get it? How'd you get the chip?
Well, my mom would spank me if she heard this, but I paid $800 for it.
Well, it must be very important to you.
Yeah, he had to pay scalper prices. And somebody might have helped him for months look for one, but I can't remember the guy's name.
Right, probably doesn't work here anymore.
No, probably not.
Someone did help me, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
No, you're not.
So I heard that you were really good at video games.
I try, I mean.
How many hours a day do you really work at it, Stanley?
Video games?
Yeah.
Not very. It just depends the game and how well I like it. You know, I don't like zombie games.
Right.
I don't like.
Are they scary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
I don't like games that are really gory or nothing like that.
Okay.
I like games that are fun. You know.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite game?
My favorite game is Halo.
Oh.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I think Dan approves.
I'm just curious, if there was a fire, would you pull out your roommate or the Xbox first?
I would have to say sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I like your roommate. I'll go get him. You get the Xbox.
Yeah. We have a caller that wanted to give some feedback on Dan. So we're going to call her now. It's Sharon Bunner.
Oh.
And Sharon has worked...
for Westbrook, how many years?
For a while. I mean, she's a couple weeks now.
At least a few, right?
Yeah, sorry, I'm dialing the wrong thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder what Sharon's going to say about Dan. What do you think Sharon will say about Dan?
I don't know.
Depends on the day of the week, I guess.
Okay.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. At least it's not Monday, so.
I hope she answers.
I hope she doesn't.
Do you think she'll answer?
Hello, this is Sharon.
Oh,
Sharon,
this is Sharon.
Bunner, you're the 9th caller.
Hi, Sharon Bunner.
Hi.
So, Sharon,
Where did I win?
we can't tell you right now. We have to find out from our sponsors.
By the way, this is Liz and Jolie, and we have 2 guests, Dan and Stanley. Did you know that?
How wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
So,
Stan and Dan show.
yeah.
That's
That's
exactly.
Dan and Stan show.
So Sharon, you're residential supervisor?
I am.
Sharon, what is your title?
I am the program director.
Program director. And how many weeks have you worked at Westbrook?
Let's see. Anybody have a calculator?
Calculators.
I can do it in my head.
Okay.
Go ahead. How many years? And I'll calculate. No, I'm kidding.
27.
27 weeks or 27 years?
27 years.
27 years. Uh-huh.
So 27 times 20 times 52 would be
I'll let you work on that.
1,040 and about.
Carry the one.
I think it's about 1,500 or something like that.
Okay.
Roughly. We'll do the math later, but
So, Sharon,
did I do that right, Stanley?
what
I
did
think
you
so.
Okay.
what did you start? How did you come to Westbrook?
I came to Westbrook as a direct care worker.
Last century. You came
for
last
the
century.
IDD department.
Okay, IDD. Okay.
Intellectual and developmental disabilities. That's what that stands for.
Yes.
And how long did you work in that division?
I worked in that division for about 15 years.
Okay, and I know your heart was there. Has anything, as far as your vision is concerned, has anything changed from the first day to today?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to give us a little, because I know you love 36th Street.
I do love 36th Street. So whenever I was hired to work at Westbrook, we had the two divisions, which was the IDD and the mental health.
Okay.
And I was hired in for mental health, believe it or not.
Okay.
And it was part-time, and I wanted to be full-time, so they asked me if I would switch to IDD. So the mental health side seat had already been set with me.
Okay.
And so I worked in DD for the 15 years, and it was my heart and soul. And then I was approached about the opportunity for 36th Street
Okay.
as a residential supervisor.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm noticing a pattern here, Dan,
Yeah.
that could work out in your favor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I switched over, and over the course of the next 10 years, I was able to move from residential supervisor to the program director.
Okay. Okay. Now, I am curious. So we didn't really say. Do you want to explain a little bit about 36th Street?
Okay. So it's funded on grant
Okay.
funds, and it has been renewed multiple times by the state due to its success. But the criteria for coming to 36th Street is
You have to have fun.
lots of
Number
fun.
one.
Lots of fun. Okay.
Attitude. So they have a lot of psychiatric hospitalizations,
Okay.
and the state is looking to reduce that by providing the things that they need to survive, which was housing,
Mm-hmm.
keeping them on their medications, making sure they make it to their doctor's appointment.
As I said earlier, they're provided really good neighbors that take care of keeping them
Yes.
independent or as independent as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's 7 units at 36th Street, and 4 are what we call supportive living.
We talked
So
about
they-
that. Yeah, Dan told us about that.
Yeah. So, and then the other 3 are the group homes.
Okay.
So the group homes tend to take care of the supportive.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just curious, what makes Dan a good staff? I'm assuming he's a good staff because Stanley said he was in charge of promoting Dan.
Yes.
And,
Yes, just to be clear, Stanley said he was solely
Okay.
responsible for getting Dan's from BHT to residential supervisor.
And I appreciate that, Stanley. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're very welcome, Dan.
Yeah.
what do you think that was about?
Supervisor is that he is very attentive. He has empathy. He has compassion. He cares. One of his great mottos is "Every day is a new day."
Aw, Dan.
I'll stop. But yeah, I do feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, you have to let things that happened the day before just let them go. Especially when you're working with people. We all have problems, staff included.
We all have emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Sharon, what are the highlights of 36th Street?
Well, let's see. The highlights. So the clients are definitely the highlights.
Yeah, that's what Dan said. Come on.
It's true though.
Yeah, everyone's
But
getting
let's
employee of the
see,
month. We get it.
We have a garden.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
very proud of that. We, one of our other clients takes care of the grounds.
Okay.
We're real proud of that. We take pride in making sure that we have the best agency vehicles, it's the cleanliness.
Well, and your program is really successful because your main goal is keeping people out of the hospital, and you do that.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the examples that I like to use is one of the individuals that we have at 36th Street. Prior to coming to 36th Street to live, he spent 285 days in the psychiatric unit.
In a year. 285 out of 365 in the hospital. And now,
Now, I bet it has been at least 5 years since he's even been in.
yeah. Yeah, it's a really effective program.
Yep.
That's
It's a very
amazing.
effective program.
You got anything else, Sharon?
I do not.
Thanks for being the 9th caller. We greatly appreciate it.
I look forward to my retirement.
Yes, yes. Hey, listen, if you wouldn't mind, go on ahead and set up maybe a press conference. Make sure that there's a venue for the press and the paparazzi for when Stanley gets home.
Sounds great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
All right,
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
And Stanley, Lukassiewicz.
Very good.
Yeah, I also call him Alphabet, Stanley Alphabet.
Yes, because there are
Well,
lots of letters.
They used to call me in the hospital Alphabet
Alphabet.
because none of them could say my name. They say Stanley, but they couldn't say
Yeah.
Lucas or Luke or whatever.
Yeah, Luca whatever.
Yeah.
That's another good nickname. Stanley, you want to share your story?
I would love to hear your story.
You didn't just come to Westbrook because you were good looking.
I don't.
Although that helps, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why did you come to Westbrook?
Well, wow, that's a question I don't know if I can answer.
Maybe we should ask it a different way.
Yeah.
You were going to educate us a little bit on schizophrenia. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I believe I was born with schizophrenia because, when I was younger, a kid and stuff, I had I had a bunch of friends in my head, and I thought that was normal.
And it was not a bad thing. It was a good thing, correct? I heard you say friends.
It was a good thing, yeah. And I didn't know anything was wrong, and I grew up. I dropped out of high school because I had problems.
Mm-hmm.
But schizophrenia is like, to me, is like having a bunch of, what do you call it?
Voices? People?
Yeah, a bunch of people living in my head, and it's
Does medication help with that?
yeah. That's funny you asked because this morning I asked to be reduced on one of my meds because it's been making me lethargic.
Okay.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's called Clozaril.
Yeah. Clozaril.
It's the best drug I've ever been on for schizophrenia.
Would you like to guess why someone might not want to do Clozaril? What do you have to do every month?
Get stuck
Yeah.
by the vampires.
By the vampires, and some people
Otherwise known as getting your blood drawn for lab work?
Oh,
Is that-
you want to make that
I'm
technical?
sorry. I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Sorry, callers. I didn't mean that.
You didn't mean that they were really vampires.
No.
So for you had people that you saw.
yeah.
You had people that you heard.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that
Was that
sounds-
scary sometimes?
Very scary because here's a good way to head, but schizophrenia for me is like having more than one conscience.
Okay.
Okay.
And like how some people say there's a good person here and a bad person there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, there's good person here and bad person here.
Okay.
In my mind, and I can deal with it now because I've had a lot of meds to take, and I stayed a little bit at Sharp Hospital, and they really got my meds straight.
Okay.
And,
But it's a lot of trial and error, isn't it?
Very, 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 very much so, yes.
And unfortunately, with an antibiotic, you know within 24, 48 hours if it's working. But with psych meds,
Can take a while, huh?
6 weeks, 3 months.
How long have you been at Westbrook?
How many weeks have you been at Westbrook?
Oh, my.
You can just say years if you prefer. Do you remember?
Like, I don't remember. I really, truly don't remember.
Do you know, Dan?
I know he's been here the entire time I've been here.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
here for
he was
7.
here before me, and he's been at 36th Street.
You think maybe it's been
almost the
over
whole time
10
I have.
years?
I think 10 is
It's probably
probably
about 10.
yeah.
Yeah, about 10 years, yeah.
What do you like about Westbrook? I'm just curious.
I like it because they treat me like I'm a real person and not they treat me like a real person and not like a diagnosis.
Okay.
Yeah, not like
Oh.
a patient. And I just want to interject a moment before we get off this topic. The medication does help Stanley a lot, but he needs a pat on the back for his own work that he's done to help himself.
I was going to say,
He has multiple coping skills that he's developed himself. He listens to some good music. He and I like the same music, some heavy metal.
Okay.
He uses Xbox. He has a lot of different ways to bring himself back to normal,
reality.
back to
Yeah.
reality.
how did you learn to do that?
I used it. I mean, before I went to the hospital, I knew how to play the video game, but
He will actively tell me, when I used to work with him daily, he would say, hey, I'm hearing voices really bad today. I think I'm going to go listen to music for a while. Or I'd like to go walk back and forth in the parking lot a little bit. He's
So-
really good about that.
So when did you put those two things together? When did you, instead of just saying the voices are bad, when did you figure out I need to actively do something to help reduce that?
when I had my nervous breakdown in 2001,
Okay.
it was like the world was crashing down all around me and stuff, and I was hearing voices from God telling me that if I want to be, if I wanted to go to heaven, that I had to do certain things. And the things they want me to do, I don't think God would ask me that, so I chalked it up as that was a negative,
Hallucination?
Yes, thank you. I stutter some.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
That's a lot of insight there that you were able to reason through it.
Yeah, because God does sometimes talk to people and give suggestions, but you must have realized that the things that you were hearing God say were not things that you really thought God would tell you to do.
Yeah, I don't think he.
There were things that got you in trouble, huh?
Yeah, I've been in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
But they sent me to 36th Street because I was a good client at Williamstown.
Which is our other program that you guys, and you guys do holidays together. I know you do day program together. So there's a lot of you see a lot of people up there.
Yeah,
Daily, I know you didn't see them as much during COVID. Do you see them daily now?
At the program, which is CFT.
Day program. Yeah. What does that stand for?
Community focused treatment.
Yeah.
Did you learn some of your coping skills at CFT?
Oh yes.
Maybe Beth Parsons taught you a coping skill or two? I think she's been known to do that.
And she told me that I'm climbing a ladder, and if I fall, I don't go all the way to the bottom. I start back where I was when I fell. And that really taught me that, if you fall, dust yourself up and get back in the game,
That's great. Hey, you mentioned earlier that Dan's a good staff, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to brag on him too much because, we don't want him to, get an attitude or anything. But what makes him a good staff? I'm just curious.
Actually, if I can ask a question, does his size intimidate you? I mean, he's a big guy. Does his size intimidate you at all? Or do you work pretty well with him?
I work pretty well with him. I would never hit
Okay.
nobody.
Well, I know you wouldn't. But let me ask you this. When this staff member shows up, this is
Wow.
Dan Wrestling.
Dan Wrestling.
Yes.
What?
And what about when this staff member shows up?
What?
Right there.
That's a picture of true horror.
True horror right there, yes.
Who is that?
It's Dan Lockhart.
That's
Yeah.
Dan Lockhart?
Does he
He's a talented guy, isn't he?
does he ever get confused and wear this to work?
No.
No.
Is that not Westbrook appropriate dress code? Probably not, huh?
No, I do have a kilt. So I'm pretty sure Sharon has discouraged me from wearing it, but I'm pretty sure that I can if I want to.
I've
So,
seen another staff member wear a kilt to
Yeah.
work
okay.
in my
Yeah.
hallway.
Yeah.
I know what I'm wearing Friday, Stanley.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Liz. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. So
Yeah, Sharon might be mad at me for saying that, but
yeah. So Stanley, this guy, does he intimidate you?
No.
Has Dan ever tried to like pick you up and drop you on the couch or anything? For the record, I would pay money to see it.
No, Dan knows that he can't take
He
me.
can't take you. Okay.
oh, he
It's
can't.
true. I wouldn't mess with Stanley.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about Dan?
I
What makes him good staff?
I like Dan. He's he's helped me a lot.
You've helped me a lot. I'm tired of talking about me and everybody talking about me. I thought I knew a little bit about mental health and schizophrenia when I started, and then I was working with Stanley for years. I didn't know anything. He's taught me a whole lot about it. The way he describes it and the way he feels and the way he deals with it is knowledge that I could never get in college or anywhere other than being directly with a client.
And that's how I got my experience with it. He was the first client that was willing to talk about it because I wasn't sure
Right.
how to approach it.
Or come here like he is today.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
And I'm betting that there are a lot of people that have never really had someone describe what it's like to have schizophrenia. And so when people don't understand things, sometimes they're scared of them. So it's good that you help people understand what it means to have schizophrenia and how you manage it, because you seem to manage it really well.
Yeah, I take my meds. I have my coping skills.
Yeah, I could learn a thing or two about coping skills one day if you're not busy.
I really think maybe an Xbox at the office would help.
Is that what it is?
Stanley,
Do you hear that, Kevin?
Yes, Kevin.
Stanley is suggesting that we all have an Xbox to
We
play.
could share.
I can get behind that.
We could
Yeah.
share. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
opposed to it.
You know what Stanley needs is internet.
Internet.
Stanley needs the internet. I heard that, Stanley.
What's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. Yeah, I want to ask you a question. Is there any way you can give me some internet? I mean, I would really be grateful for
And listeners, this is our
for
last podcast, apparently. It just randomly shut down.
No, we're going to make sure Kevin responds to you about that, okay?
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so good. So good. But I appreciate you saying, because I think it's really important to hear that schizophrenia can be good, manageable,
Yes, it
live
can.
with it, and then it can also get scary. So we've talked about this before. When you were out west and you saw somebody talking to themselves, you were fine with it.
Mhm.
They were not bothering anybody, but it bothered people around you.
Because they don't understand, and so it makes people scared. So that's why I really appreciate you talking on this podcast for people, to help people understand it's not scary just because you don't know what it is. So Stanley, if someone is thinking about working at Westbrook, what advice do you have for them? Why should they come here?
You should come here because I've heard it's not about the money, it's about the clients and about the atmosphere. You know, there's people that I've worked with, mainly up in Williamstown, that weren't there very long because they didn't like it, I guess. But 36th Street is more of an open place for the staff and the clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get like the staff taking drives and takes to do stuff, and you know, I'm not downplaying Williamstown, but they don't have the freedom in it.
I'm going to make sure that Williamstown doesn't watch the podcast because we don't want them to be upset about that, okay?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm teasing you. But I have to ask you, do you think your staff has fun at work?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's important, don't you think?
Yeah.
You try to make them have fun while they're there?
I try.
Do you tease them?
Yes.
Do you tease Dan?
Yes.
Huh.
I think Dan needs to be teased a lot.
I get it.
I am an angel when I walk into 36th Street, and I get nothing but ribbing.
Really?
Yes.
She deserves it, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think an active employee, you have brought up how staff present a situation and how, we're going to have a good day. This is going to be a fun activity. How you present it is really important. But I think active, and I think probably patience. And you want to help people. Yeah. Anyone have anything else? No? All right.
Do you have anything else to say, Stanley?
I just want to say, if you have a mental illness, make sure you go and get it checked out, because it can be managed.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Did he just give a plug for melanoma?
No, he said if you have a mental illness, to go and get it checked out because it can be managed.
I completely agree. I heard melanoma and I thought, thanks for taking us onto the cancer route.
No, mental illness. He's all about it.
But should people check out their melanoma?
I don't know what that is.
Cancer. Skin cancer.
That's not.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
But
Yeah.
definitely the mental illness.
We can edit that out.
I would just like to add something about coming to work for Westbrook. A lot of times you could find yourself in a thankless job. I've had a few in my life, but it means a lot to me personally that I can come to work and have a job where I can do simple things like drive Stanley to the store,
Yeah.
or he wants to go look at video games at GameStop, and I get a genuine thank you from the clients,
Yeah.
and it feels really good. And I just want to let anybody that might be thinking about getting a job at Westbrook, give it a try, because it's a wonderful place to work. Best job I've ever had.
And probably it's probably good to work for Dan Lockhart, I would imagine.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think I'd work for Dan Lockhart.
Have we got a deal for you? All right. Well,
Yeah, well,
everyone,
yeah.
thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.